How's it, guys? If you want to improve your entries and risk to reward ratio, then don't skip this video. Right? We are going to use only 3 trigger entries as examples, which are the fair value gaps, the order block, and the breaker block. Right? Let's start with fair value gaps. What you need to do to improve your entries is to do the 3 things that you see on the screen. One, on a larger fair value gap, use a 0.5% of the fib, right? And two, look for an entry trigger confluence between the fair value gap, the order block, and the breaker block. And three, use smaller time frame imbalances within larger time frame imbalances. Okay, what I mean is, let's go to the market and look at a few example of this. Okay, the first example is on US 100, which is Nasdaq on the 5 minutes. If you look at this, you look at that, you have your entry, you have a fair value gap here. It's an entry fair value gap because we have a break of structure here and we have a change in market structure here. So, but let's not talk about that. We're only focusing on the fair value gap. So what you do is, within this fair value gap, you can see that this fair value gap is a large fair value gap. It's a 5 minutes fair value gap, so that it's large. So when you enter here, you enter here and put your stop loss here. Let's look at that long position. You enter here and you target this. Let's say you target this high and you put your stop loss above this low. As you can see, your stop loss is fairly large. So if you want to reduce this, you have to go to the lower time frame and look at imbalances within these imbalances. Let's go to the 1 minute and see. Okay, guys, on the 1 minute, you can see that the 5 minutes fair value gap consists of many candles. So on the 1 minute time frame, you look for a fair value gap which is in a discounted market, which is here. You have a fair value gap here. Now this is a 1 minute fair value gap, and in order to reduce your entry from here to this, you gotta reduce your entry and took it and pay and put it here at the open or at the 50% of it. You can see the drastic difference from here, or from the 50%. So this is how you use a fair value gap on a lower time frame that is within a larger, higher time frame fair value gap, right? So let's go to the next example. On our next example, we're going to be using the 0.5% to refine our entry even further. So we have a fair value gap here, which is our entry trigger. We have a fair value gap here, and you can see how large it is. So if you have to enter here and target up there, so you're gonna have to put your stop loss below this low, which is going to be a large drawback. So if you want to use the 0.5%, is you use the 50% of the fair value gap. So instead of getting your entry here and putting your stop loss below this low, you use the 0.5% of the fair value gap, which is the 50% of the fair value gap, which is here. You can see your stop loss reduces and your risk to reward ratio increases, right? So the next example, let's go to the next example. In our next example, we're going to use the confluence between a fair value gap and a breaker block. What you see is we have a break of market structure making our breaker block and fair value gap valid. So where is your breaker block? Your breaker block is between this leg and this leg. So the last up candle before the down move is your breaker block. This is your breaker block here. Extend it out, and now you look for your fair value gap. This is your breaker block. Now you look for the fair value gap. The fair value gap is here. So if you enter at the fair value, at the open of the fair value gap, and put your stop loss above this high, you have a relatively large stop loss. So you can use the 50% of the fair value gap, but still it's still large. So in order to make your entry even more refined, you can use the 50% of the breaker block, which is here. So you put your stop loss here, your entry at the 50% of the breaker block, which reduces your stop loss and increases your risk to reward ratio. right? So this is a confluence between a breaker block and a fair value gap. Let's go to our next example, guys. For our next and last example, we're going to use the confluence between a fair value gap and an order block. So if you see here, we also have a break-in market structure here. We have a break-in market structure, and we have a market structure shift. We have a market structure shift validating our order block and our fair value gap. So the first thing that you look for is you look for your order block. Your order block is from here to here, right? If you want, you can use the wicks, but I prefer using the bodies only. So your order block is from here to here. Now that you find your order block, look for your fair value gap. Your fair value gap is from here to here. So when you enter your trade, you enter a trade at the 50. If you enter at the open of the fair value gap, the stop loss is going to be large. So you enter at the 50%. Here they are relatively close to each other. So you can enter at the 50% of the the fair value gap or the 50% of the order block, whichever one you prefer, and you target this low. Okay, guys, that's all that you need to do to improve your entry. You use the 0.5% on a larger fair value gap. You use confluence between fair value gap and other entry trigger like the order block or the fair value gap or the breaker block, I mean, or you use a smaller imbalances that is within a larger imbalance. Okay, guys, if you've enjoyed this short video, please consider subscribing and liking and commenting what your thought on this type of videos for future reference. Till we meet again, peace out.